今回は盛り上がりを見せた MLB 開幕東京シリーズでの米メディアの様子について、そして佐々木朗希投手、山本由伸投手の試合後のインタビュー、さらに米記者が佐々木朗希投手や日本をどう見ていたのかについて見ていきます。それでは行ってみましょ
う。Roki Sasaki making his debut, wiggled in and out of trouble. 3 total innings in his big league debut, considered the #1 overall prospect according to MLB.com. And I've been saying, man, these guys come to the States, these Japanese stars, and they don't look like prospects. Roki Sasaki kind of looked like a prospect in this game.
You could see why he's the #1 prospect, but you could also see why I think he's a work in progress. He's not nearly as polished as Ohtani was as a pitcher or Yamamoto. But boy, talk about coming out of the gate. You're wondering, hey, how is he going to be? Is he going to be overamped? What's his velo like? It had been down. How about 100? Welcome to MLB. Second pitch, 100. You're like, whoa. Third pitch, 100. I'm like, does he have anything more than that? How about 101? So came out guns a-blazing, and I think this split finger, that's the one we've been waiting to see. That is virtually an unhittable pitch, and he doubled up with another one to Ian Happ. Look how deep he has that. It's almost like a forkball instead of a fat splitter. And it almost has that tumble action like the pitch that Bruce Sutter used to throw. So you compact that, great fastball, good splitter. And then this slider, I thought this was his best out pitch that he threw all game long. Picked a great time to break out the slider. But what comes along with him? Some non-competitive pitches. You wonder why the walk total was 5 and he threw 56 pitches, only 25 for strikes. Too many non-competitive pitches. Listen, it's easy, to pick apart, but I'm thinking about 4 of the best splitters. What do they all have in common? They've all come from Japan. Kodai Senga with the ghost forkball, right? When it's on, it's nearly unhittable. Yesterday, starter Yamamoto. When it's good, it looks like a fastball. His, I think, is the hardest of the 4. It's anywhere between 89 to 93. Imanaga also yesterday for the Cubs. Terrific split finger. He throws it to both righties and lefties, and then you go to today's guy in Sasaki. That's about as good a split finger that you're ever going to throw, and he throws another one on a 3-1 count to Ian Happ. So 4 guys, I don't think it's any coincidence that all 4 are from Japan, because I think that's a big pitch. They learned that pitch early on, and they learned how to throw it correctly. And I think you look at this graphic, the total pitches, the 3rd inning, I thought Dave Roberts and the Dodgers did a really good thing. It was a very stressful 3rd inning, 28 pitches, wiggled into trouble, wiggled out of trouble. Get him out of there. I get it. The stage was big. But I think overall, if you're the Dodgers right now, you have to be pleased. He got in trouble by his own doing and was able to work his way out of trouble.
What did you think of his body language from the jump?
I just thought if you honed in and watched him between pitches, he was breathing heavy. You could tell this was a very big game for him. A lot of pressure coming back to Japan, facing the Cubs, the whole thing with all the Japanese players. I thought he was overamped, and I thought the 1st inning he came out guns a-blazing, settled in the 2nd, 3rd inning, started spraying a lot of pitches all around. But all in all, he has tremendous upside. In time, I don't think he's as polished. He's not nearly the complete pitcher that Yamamoto is, but I think in time he'll be a back end of the rotation guy. I'm assuming this year, but down the road, tremendous upside.
Well managed, though. I agree with you. Dave Roberts, not even 60 pitches. He saw the body language.
Get him out.
Get him out of there. The bullpen held on. They win game 2, 6-3 over the Cubs.
All right, Roki, man, come back home. Were you excited to get a chance to pitch here tonight?
そうですね。緊張もあったんですけど、このなかなかない機会をしっかり噛み締めて投げようと思ってました。
Yeah, you've pitched here a few times. That's probably the first time you had this kind of nerves being in front of the crowd. Was it everything, the beginning of the Major League season, or coming back to Japan, or just a combination of it all?
そうですね。緊張はしたんですけど、いつも以上に集中できたというか、集中しながらこの舞台を噛み締めて投げれたかなと思います。
So your fastball was electric. You had 3 pitches in the 1st inning, 100 miles an hour, throwing it by people. I was concerned before I heard that you were a little worried about your velocity. Did you feel good? Did you feel like you got the marks that you wanted to with the fastball?
状態というか、いいフォームを見つけ、自分の中でいい感覚でいいフォーム投げれたので、 そこは良かったと思いますし、それを、2回、3回とできたら良かったなとは思ってます。
Sum up the night. How you feel now wrapping the game up? Last question. So how you feel wrapping up the evening that you did and maybe be able to build from?
そうですね、まずはチームが2連勝できてよかったと思いますし、自分も、イニングをたくさん投げて、チームに貢献していきたいなと思います。
Hey, so outstanding job last night. The ball was exploding. Was it exciting to be home pitching in front of your home crowd?
やっぱりこう日本で投げる
Pitching in Japan, that's my home. It's very, very special. So that was great encouragement for me.
How many times had you pitched on this mound? You've been on this mound quite a bit?
Probably 5 games I was out there.
So the fastball was exploding. Did you have a little extra adrenaline from being at home?
It was more about my execution than my mechanic. And then I was feeling really good. I think that helped a lot too, to get that velo.
Yeah, one of the best compliments I heard, Will Smith was talking to me a couple weeks ago, and he said, nobody can pinpoint the ball better than you.
Because that's something I'm kind of being careful, since I came to the big league. And then it's getting the zone, because that was taking a big, away.
Last question. So last year this time, you were just starting in the major leagues over here in America, and you had to go through the full season, figure out the players and all that. What have you learned in a year that might help you be more comfortable this year if you weren't comfortable last year?
Yeah, first off, I'm at this point I'm used to the life off the field, and then in terms of baseball, because I had a full season under my belt right now, and then because I feel more comfortable and a little more confident for this year.
All right, congratulations on the first game, man. Thank you. It's gonna be fun watching you the rest of the year. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Both games, and it's been fun to chat with them about it. Dodgers win game 2, 6-3. Harold, good to see you, bud. All right, what did you make of the Shohei Ohtani homer? What was your view like, and did you think it was clearly gone?
Yeah, well, it was hit so high, you weren't sure it was going to have enough to get there. You remember the first inning, he hit a ball to the track, so the ball doesn't carry a whole lot in this dome. That ball, I'm telling you, I thought it was going to hit the roof. And then I didn't know if the rule was if it hit the baggie, it was a home run or not. And then seeing the replay, you realize obviously it's over the yellow line. The fan reached out, but they didn't know what was going on in the stands. I don't know if they have replay in Japanese baseball. So it was really people wondering, what are they doing? They're stalling. It was quite a scene in the stands, because you take away the home run from Mr. Ohtani here, that's big news.
Hey, Harold, I want to touch a little bit on Sasaki. What was your initial impression of his stuff tonight?
I'll tell you what, Dan, the one thing I want to see was watching the fastball, and it was explosive. He had an at-bat, yeah, this is it right here. He threw 3 pitches over 100 miles an hour, and then it looked like he almost went into spring training mode, trying to figure out, can I throw that split for strikes and everything else? And he wasn't able to locate the split, and that's what got him in trouble. I thought they just went to the well on it too many times instead of just reaching back, challenging guys with the fastball. It was electric. They weren't catching up to it, and I thought they kind of got away from it.
You know, I was telling Greg, when you look at Yamamoto and Sasaki, to me, Yamamoto is more experienced, more polished, and to me, I think there's huge upside long-term with Sasaki, but to compare the two pitchers right now is probably a little bit unfair. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, I totally agree with you. I don't think you can compare them right now, but I think Sasaki's upside is going to go further than we've seen a lot of guys go coming out of Japan or even back home in the States. This guy, by the end of the day, I say by the end of the season, is going to be one of the top 10 pitchers in baseball. He's just got that great of stuff. We watched him in Arizona when I don't think he had the nerves. He wasn't back in Japan pressing for the first game, and that split was unhittable. And so when he's able to locate that fastball he had tonight and the split, I'm sorry, he doesn't need to throw anything else. He can tell him it's coming. I stood next to him, Dan, and I stand next to you and Greg, and I'm like looking up at you guys. He's right there at your height. He's a legit 6'5". He's already got some size to him, and he's got some presence. And that was the big thing to me, was the presence that he had and the composure. I think he's going to be a star. we're looking at a great one.
Dodgers won these 2 games without 2 huge stars, Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. There's another team that played in this Tokyo series, and that's the Chicago Cubs. Yeah, they're missing Nico Horner right now at second base, but up until Tucker got that double in the 9th inning, if you go 2 through 4, Seiya Suzuki, Tucker, and Bush, a combined 1 for 22 in these first 2 games. Is that a big deal to you, or do you think the Chicago Cubs are still going to be a force to be reckoned with in the NL Central?
You know, the first thing I thought about was I remember breaking spring training with the Padres, and I ended up getting traded to the Angels before we went on this trip I'm going to tell you about. We were going to open with Gladys, Maddox, and Smoltz. And you're sitting there going, I'm 0 for 15 before the season starts. And if the Cubs, you got to sit there and go, look what we faced. We're talking about the starters, but that bullpen is elite. The arms were amazing. So if I'm a Cub hitter, I got to sit back and go, who did we face in 2 games? It was overpowering stuff, and you're not going to see that all season long, not consecutive nights, consecutive days like they'd had to deal with here. So I'm not as concerned. I don't think we really know what they're capable of because they saw elite, I mean elite stuff that I don't think they'll see the rest of the year like that back to back to back.
Are we going to see back-to-back-to-back Tokyo series? Is this going to get bigger? How do you see this down the line?
Well, I tell you what, Guggenheim's going to bring them back here. You got the biggest star on the planet. If you were here to see the reception that Ohtani continues to get, we will be coming back here. And it's not only Ohtani. They put on an amazing show. It was a combination of the Olympics, I'm sure the WBC, but to start the Major League season, I think we're going to see multiple teams come over here, but the Dodgers are going to be the headliners because of what you got. Greg, there was a scene right after the game. You had all the Japanese players. There was 5 Japanese players in this game. They came out for a team photo, and I'm telling you what, the place, nobody left. They saw these guys coming out. They stood there. It was amazing, and just a scene, I think, is something that we're going to continue to build on. And Japan is a baseball country, and we're not talking about, they don't have the NBA they're battling with, the NFL they're battling with. They dominate baseball. And so if you're a baseball organization like Major League Baseball, you have to invest where your product is a premium. And that's here in Japan. So yeah, I see us continually growing the game over here, growing the sport over here. This was as big as the World Series. They bring so many people in this place. So pretty amazing stuff.
Harold, you've been on the ground there for a few days now. What was your feeling from the players? Did they enjoy the experience going from Arizona, making the trip to Japan? Did you feel like they enjoyed going to Tokyo?
Yeah, they enjoyed it because they made it more than just coming over to play some baseball games. And so now they got to go back. The Cubs are going back to play 5 exhibition games. Imagine that, Dan. You tune it up, and now you got to go back and play exhibition games. And the Dodgers are getting ready to go back and play the Freeway Series. At least they got a little oomph in the Freeway Series playing in the 2 different stadiums. So it's going to be a little bit of a letdown. But I think at the end of the day and at the end of the season, and understanding where the sport has to go to, and what they're doing here, the players fully got it.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being we have to stay till 1:30 in the morning on a Friday night because the game went extra innings. That's a 1. 10 being the greatest experience you've ever had. What would Harold Reynolds, how would you rank your Tokyo experience, 1 through 10?
It's up there. I got a chance to bring my family over, so we got a chance to really do a lot of different things. Saw some of the palaces. The food was amazing, all that. But I would say I'd give it definitely a 9 or a 10. I mean, Greg, come on now, look at this.
Is this a samurai
That's
sword?
Troy Hawkins. That's Dexter Fowler. Yeah, that's a samurai sword. I mean, I got a chance to do so many cool things. So yeah, it's up there on the scale of fun things to do.
It was great action shot right there, Harold.
And this isn't even a Saturday Night Live skit. I mean, it was pretty cool stuff.
Wow, my goodness, I could do a Greg's list on my favorite Harold in Tokyo pictures. I mean, they're everywhere. Harold, great stuff. I'm glad your beautiful family could enjoy the trip to Japan. Get home safe, and we'll be kickstarting the regular season here in this country pretty soon. Okay, bud?
Picked up right where you left off. Man, you crushed that ball. That feel good?
It felt great, man. I didn't do anything last night, so I felt like I had to do something tonight. And as a first baseman, I felt like slugging was the right thing to do.
See, yeah, the power hitting first baseman showing up. So, yeah, yesterday, Freddie, last minute scratch. When did you find out you were going to play first?
I mean, I figured that I realized that I actually was the one that told Doc that Freddie was a little banged up, and I figured that if Freddie can't go, it's going to be me. So it was about 30 minutes before the game, but I got to play first base here, the 2 exhibition games, and I played first game a couple of games in spring training, so I feel pretty comfortable there right now.
Let's wrap it up here playing this series, the Guggenheim series here in Tokyo. How did you feel about the first 2 games of the season?
It was amazing, man. This was a heck of an experience. We had a lot of fun. For me, not just on the field, but off the field, getting to see Tokyo a little bit. I loved it. My wife loved it. My daughter loved it. She got to see snow for the first time in her life this morning.
How cool was that?
So
first time in her life. Hold it. Are you serious?
Yeah, she's 4, so we got to build some core memories here at this trip.
That's really cool. All right, keep it going, man.
Thank you, bro.
2 down.
Yes,
we only
sir.
got 100 and something to go.
いかがでしたでしょうか。このチャンネルでは、日本人メジャーリーガーなどを中心に、野球情報をお届けしています。この動画が良かったら、高評価、チャンネル登録をよろしくお願いいたします。今回も最後までご覧いただき、ありがとうございました。それでは、また次の動画でお会いしましょう。